Alright, so this video I'm going to talk about basically the Songhai Empire, the Mandi Empire, the Mali Empire, Mansa Musa, 16th century Timbuktu, and I'm going to talk about the jihads in the 16th century and in the 1600s, and the jihad in the 1800s, the 19th century. Now, as we go on, emerging from the ruins of the Mali Empire, the Mandi Songhai Empire was from 1430 to 1591. It was a multi-ethnic empire, and it was ruled by the Muslims. Okay, this is taken off of a site. I'm gonna put my sources in the note. There's several sites. One was actually Wikipedia, and I was looking for pictures, read a little bit, just got inspired to look at some other stuff, verify what they're saying. Started looking at some other stuff. Started working the old memory bank and see what I came up with. And what I came up with is that we go on to Mansa Musa, who conquered the kingdom of Gao. Now, everything was cool from 1493 to 1529. The Songhai borders were extending. The Islamic advances in West Africa were quite profound. But remember, all the way in 858, BC, you had bronze weapons and bronze making. So 858 years before Christ, 300 years before the Persian Empire, you had an Egyptian style, almost Igbo Uku Empire, emerging. It was there for quite some time, and the fruits of it were starting to emerge. This is some of the fruits the white man was seeking. That's why the Scottish and the Portuguese and the British will go to, and the Irish will all go to West Africa along with the French. And we'll get into this, and they'll try to keep the French out and try to take it for themselves. They're fighting over who cuts up the spoils of the knowledge and the resources. Not just the resources, but it's also the science that they're after. They're seeking everything of value. So we get to the 16th century, and they have about 50,000 people, and scholars from all over the Muslim world start migrating. So, on you get is the Moroccos, okay? The problem happens is when the Songhai Empire ends and Morocco conquers the state. This is when, the transatlantic slave trade is starting to emerge in the 1600s. There's a lot of jihads that cause a lot of Igbos to sell their own people. The Igbos are cleaning house as well. And so it's the internal Igbo wars and the Igbo skirmishes with the Fulani that fuel the transatlantic slave trade that brought about 2 million West Africans to America and to, the West Indies, as well as some went to Europe and, to South America. Now, as we go on, we talk about, basically, let me skip ahead to the riots, right? In 1914, you start getting the provinces, northern, eastern, western, the colony of Lagos, okay? And the Igbo start migrating to Lagos, etc. And they start migrating to the UK as the British come here and start getting attracted by them, taking women home and, offering them jobs back home, etc., etc. We get the Josh riots in the 45 to 50. And in 53, the anti-Igbo riots, which is kind of like the anti-Jew riots, like, oh, the Igbos are running all their business. See, and they start accusing them. Because the Igbos have outmaneuvered their enemies politically and were seizing a lot of offices. The North gets mad. They say, we're going to leave. And the wars break out. So, when we're talking about, 1858, the bronze swords, the statues, the terracotta statues, we're talking about Arochukwu and the empire that he led from 1690 to 1720. Okay? And the Arrow Confederacy that fell, in 1902. So, who took us through slavery and out of slavery? It was Chukwu who defeated Set and ended the slave trade and the bondage of our people. The Arochukwu War. And it was the Ibibo, okay? The Ibibio that were colluding with the Europeans. And now we have Good Luck Jonathan and Ejaw. And once again, the people who are after the money are a threat to our well-being in our future. Okay? So, let me scan through my notes, make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover. I talk about Timbuktu. Okay, the rise of Timbuktu was part of what fueled the Fulani Wars. As they start educating themselves a little bit, they start deciding that, you know, Islam is the way to go and the white man is the answer. It wasn't the educating themselves that people didn't like. It was the fact that they had chose Islam. But the white man took it as educating the black man was bad, so they used that to justify keeping the black people from reading, and the Willie Lynch letters. It was a global thing. You know, they traveled from the West Indies. People traveled all around the world, noticed what was going on, noticed how to subjugate the people best and bring them under the control of the control freak monarchy, the establishment fucking scum. Now, I remember in a couple videos, you know, like 10 videos back or something, I gave you the whole fucking York Rite. You know, I gave you the 10 degrees of the York Rite, I believe it was, and I gave you the 32 degrees of the Scottish Rite, I believe it was. You know, all the way up to the Inspector General and the Knights Templar, and how the Malta is below that, and how, you know, you have the rank of the brazen serpent or some shit like that, and, you know, you have the Knight of the Sun, and I told you how, you know, the Knight of Mercy, and how those play in, and how it's wordplay even in the fucking ranks, and then the titles, and how Masons love to give themselves silly titles. Well, there you are. Thank you.